This is a private walkway on the back side of the Kaminsky House in Georgetown in South Carolina. It's a historic home that dates back to, the late 19th century, mid to late 19th century. It's a museum, and this is one of the first places, as an adult anyway, that I experienced unexpectedly mediumship. And so I thought I would return here today, since I was here in the South this week in South Carolina. I'm in Georgetown County, to just talk a little bit about mediumship and my experience. And I'm not a trained professional. Did it finish, or are we still alive? Here we go. And I'm not a trained professional in mediumship, but I can do it and do it. And sometimes people hire me for that skill. But I'm going to come over here on this bench next to the river. And we'll talk about it for a minute. And I'll tell you what happened at this house. So many years ago, maybe not quite 20 years ago, I went on the tour of this house. And it's a historic house, so you're looking at furniture and paintings, and there's been many owners, and the original owner was a family. I believe that it was Keith, the very first mayor, when this was incorporated. And I went through the house, and I remember it was close to 5 o'clock and the museum was closing. And so I thought I would rush upstairs to see what was on the second floor before they closed. And the woman downstairs, she said, sure, go ahead up, have a quick look. So I was roaming through the rooms on the second floor, and there was doors that opened up to a balcony that overlooked the river. And I wondered if I could go out and step on the balcony and have a look at the river from that view, that historic view. And I looked around to see if there was anybody there I could ask. And there was a woman who came out of the room, and she crossed in front of me, and she stood at the edge of the doorway there that led out to the balcony. And she was dressed in period costume. She was, late 1700s, early 1800s, black with the cap and, the lace collar, etc. And she just kept looking at me. And then I asked her, I said, is it okay if I step out onto the balcony? I would really like to see the view of the river from here before I go. And she didn't say anything, but she went like this. She went, and that was it, and kept looking at me. And I was like, okay, thanks. And I walked out past her onto the balcony, and I had a look at the river. And I came back through the hallway, and I went downstairs, and I said to the woman on the first floor, thanks a lot for giving me the extra time to roam around on the second floor. And the river view from up there is really extraordinary. I'm so glad that the woman up there gave me permission to step outside, because I wasn't sure if I could do it or not. And she said, what woman? And I said, the woman that's upstairs. She's working in period costume. And I described her. And she said, I'm the only one here working. There is nobody else here working today. She said, that is probably the original homeowner's wife from the late 1800s, because other people occasionally come through here and they see her and they describe her just as you've described. And that was the dress that she wore after her husband died, and it was her widow wardrobe, which was all black. And I described her, and she said, yes, there's a painting of her somewhere in the collection, and that's what she looked at. And she said, I've never seen her. And so that was my first, encounter where I interacted with some, in a mediumship format. In other words, she's dead, right? Mediumship. What is mediumship? It's the ability to talk to dead people. And sometimes you just hear them. Sometimes you see them. Sometimes you feel them. Sometimes you can smell, like if they used to smoke a pipe, you might just smell the pipe. There's lots of ways that one experiences this thing that we now call mediumship. It's not always seeing a ghost. Sometimes it's having signs and symbols that are present in the same moment with you that identify the person. Now, in this case, this was my experience was pretty extraordinary in that it's rare. It's rare to have someone who's dead materialize just like me. In other words, I couldn't see through her. She didn't have a little outline or glow. She looked like a person in period costume that worked here at the museum. And it takes an enormous amount of energy for someone who is dead to materialize like that in front of someone, that they see them and see what they look like, and to be able to have an encounter where I asked the question and she answered it. And people will often say, you know, what do you think it's like on her end? And on her end, I'm probably this bizarre creature that, you know, walked through her house. She doesn't understand why I'm there either, and also doesn't understand why no one else can see her but me. You know, so that's probably why she didn't engage and just nodded and said, yeah, you can go out on the balcony if you want, because I'm scared to death of you. Who are you? What are you doing in my house? You know, so it was an interesting moment. And then, of course, you know, once I went into the place where she gave me permission to go, she either went off into another room or disappeared or whatever. So mediumship it's the ability to be able to have an experience with, maybe even communicate with somebody who's dead. That's not the same thing as communicating with your spirit guides or angels, you know. It's the realm of people that lived on planet Earth at some point, and those people are attached. Usually people that are still roaming around the house or roaming around a town or a building or a city or a boat, they're attached. They're attached to the material world. And this house, as the woman on the first floor said to me, this was her whole life revolved around this house. This house was a very important place. It was one of the first times that people were owning land in this area. They were granted this land probably from the King of England way back when he thought he owned this land and could give it away to whoever he wanted to. So she's attached. People who are not attached to the material world, you know, they may come in and come out, and they're not location based, you know. So like, this is if you feel like your grandparents, your ancestors around, you can commune with them, but it's very short, it's very pointed, and it's usually not scary at all, you know. It's not an unexpected thing. It's usually you call on them, they come with communication guidance or something of that nature, answer a question for you, and then they're gone. But they could show up anywhere. But these types of people that are location based are usually attached to the material world, and they're dead, and they don't leave, or they can't leave, or they choose not to leave when they have the opportunity to transform completely. So they're stuck between worlds, and that's the loneliness and the sadness for them. So for me, you know, and this has happened to me before in other places, where I walk into a place and I can sense that there's somebody there watching me or waiting to talk with me, but I can't see them yet. This has also happened to me at the Julian Hotel in Julian, California. One time when I walked in, and I could smell this guy's pipe, and I could describe him, and someone said that person you're describing was the very first owner of the Julian Hotel, who's been dead for a really long time, but he does show up. So that's what it is. I thought while I was here in South Carolina today, I would come on over here and revisit this first place that I had this unexpected encounter in the mediumship realm that was pretty rare and intense, and just share with you what that's like and what it is. So I think a lot of people would get informed about mediumship through, you know, movies, usually scary movies, and it's not quite like that. So I hope wherever you are in the world today, you're having a great time. And hello from the Kaminsky house in Georgetown, South Carolina, where there is a ghost. Live from here. Bye for now.